Right, a couple of people had asked me about like a basic bushcraft kit list. Well, the only thing with that is the entire thing can get slightly confusing, and the reason being is it all depends what you're going to do. If you're going down the woods camping for a weekend, that's going to be a different load of kit to if you're camping or just going down the woods for a day, and what you're intending to do down the woods. If you're intending to just go down there, have something to eat, perhaps do a bit of foraging or something, you're probably going to take less stuff than if you wanted to go down there building shelters and stuff like that. And it also depends if when you go to these places you're allowed to make fires or not. So you see, it's all different kind of gear for different things you're going to be doing. But what I've got here is kind of some basic kind of bushcraft stuff. I'll kind of go through it and show you what some of the stuff is and what you'd use it for. So really, I suppose the first thing you're going to need would be a bag of some sort. Now this is just kind of a basic second-hand bag. That was given to me by a friend, but you could go for whatever, military bags, whatever, second-hand ones, brand new ones. But what you'll have to do is kind of figure out how much gear you're going to carry and what's going to go in it and whether it'll fit in that bag. Well, this lot should fit in that bag easy. Now I think personally that's either a 35 or 40 litre bag. And you've got side pockets. It opens at the bottom. You've got side pockets, a main compartment, you've got a top thing on the top there. Now I'll either take that bag with me, or I've got what I believe is I think is a Swedish Army medical bag. Whereas if I'm going camping for a weekend, I've got an 85 litre bag. Now that's a massive bag, but it means I can get all my stuff in there and I've got space to move things around. Whereas I hate it when you put all your stuff in a bag and it's all crammed and you can't move anything. So the first one would be a bag. I'll see if I can go through the more important ones, I suppose, what you could call more important. So the other one, second one, would be something to carry water in and maybe something to drink out of. Now this, just by pure fluke, fits inside there, and that's a steel cup, an aluminium bottle. So if you're going out just for a day, that may not be enough water anyway, but there's no way going to be enough water for a weekend. I'm going to try and centre this video just on like a day trip, because it'll be completely different, well not completely different, it'll be other gear for a weekend, and I'll do a video about that too. But you want a bottle anyway, and something to drink out of. Steel cup is good because you could put your water in here, use this straight over the fire for boiling water to make a hot drink with. And the other thing I've got is like a military version of that. This isn't the right cup for this bottle, but it does fit. I have seen these with a plastic cup that goes on them. So that's something to drink out of and something to carry water in. Now if you're going out of the woods and you want to cook something, something like a mess tin will be ideal. And the good thing is, of being like that, you should be able to just eat straight out of it. You cook your food and use that as your plate. And like I said, this isn't like a definitive end-all list of gear, because there's loads of different variables to this. But this is just some basic stuff. So if you had this basic, some of these basic things, that would get you going. We've got a bag, something to carry our water in, something to drink out of, something to cook in. And you might want something to cook, to actually cook the food or boil your water. Because in the UK especially, you might go to a lot of woods where you can't actually make open fires. So stoves then will come in handy. There's a few different types of stoves here. I've got one of these solid fuel ones, hexamine one. You open that up, you take one of these blocks out, light it in the middle, and then depending on the size of your container, you rest it on and cook or boil your stuff. They're good because they're quite nice and light. You don't want to use them inside anywhere. Now I made this myself, but you can get things like this. This is a little, just a little stove thing for a trangia burner or a pep stove. Put that together, put your meth stove in there. Then these nails, but if your cup, see this cup will be alright on there, this one will go through the middle. So I've got holes drilled where you put nails through. And then that'll hold that on there like that. And if you want your trangia stove off the floor, you can put 2 nails in the bottom. But you can buy different types of these meth burners with their own little pot stands and everything. So a meth stove is another option. Also I've got, you can make yourself a homemade hobo stove, which is basically a tin with holes punched in it and a little door in the middle, on the front I mean. And you can either put sticks in here and burn them, or this is what people call a buddy burner. And that's cardboard with wax melted on it. You like that, that'll work in here perfectly. But that will turn your cup black like this if you do that. But what's that matter anyway? Or I've got in here this is a wood gas stove. And that can work, actually these can work on loads of things. And a lot of people say you can put your trangia burner in there, light it, use it like that. These will work on wood pellets, cat litter, chopped up sticks. You put them in and then you light your fire on top. So that's another option for a stove. So we've got the bag, something to carry our water in, something to drink stuff out of, something to cook in, and things to cook on as well. So I suppose I'll do water next, but that could kind of go with these as well. Depending on if you're going to take water with you, if you know you've got a source where you can collect water, then you might want to get water purifiers or water filters. Now that's one type of water filter. That's a pump one. Now this is another type. I've not actually used this yet. I need to do a bit more research about it. But what you're supposed to do is fill this bottle up, and then with dirty water, and then supposedly you can just drink it straight away as it is, and as it comes out it filters it. Well, like I said, I'm going to do some research on that first. But water filters, if you're going to collect water, the other thing you could use is water purifying tablets. But if you're worried about any of that, use those in conjunction with boiling your water with your other stuff. So water filters. And these, like I said, this isn't the be all end all of it. There is other water filters out there. Millbank bags and soya filters, loads of them. I'm just showing you a basic guide to some bushcraft kit. So if you are allowed to have fires, then here's some fire starting stuff here. What I was just looking for was an ordinary lighter. I haven't got it on me, but having an ordinary lighter, just a normal one, that'll beat everything for making a fire. So carry a normal lighter, but I've also got a one-handed ferro rod. You put it on and push it down. A one-handed ferro rod. In here, matches. Or I've got an empty petrol lighter or a Zippo style lighter. Now I've lit fires before with just a spark using that and birch bark. I've even done some where you cut some of the windshield away. Or you could actually have this full up and use the flame properly, but when it runs out just use your spark. Also just your ordinary normal ferro rod and striker. This is brand new. I don't know if I'm doing it, but so ferro rods, lighters and matches. Another thing worth having. But like I said, if you're not going to be making fires, then you won't necessarily need to take this. This is where the whole kit thing goes all over the place, because some things you'll need, some things you won't. One day you'll need it, another day you won't. So here's knives. Now I've got two more knives here. This is a different shape I'd put on this one, but that's your ordinary Mora clipper, carbon steel blade, Scandi grind. Decent comfortable knives these are, really worth buying. Slightly different this one, a Mora classic. Just more in your classic kind of shape and style, old style kind of thing. I like this knife. But the grip isn't as good as the other one. And this is a cheap elk ridge knife. This is actually nice as well. Now it all depends on knives. Again, what you're going to be doing. If you're just going to be going down there to have something to eat, then what's the point in taking great big knives with you? You might as well just take something small. Small folding lock knife. Or if you wanted to go completely legal, something like a non-locking Swiss Army knife. Like I said, it all depends on whatever you're doing and whatever you're planning to do. So that could go out the window one day, and another day you'll want to take these. A solid fixed blade knife is going to be safer than any locking or folding knife. So there's that to think about as well. Now the other things, I've got a couple of axes. And a folding saw. Now yet again, it's another thing. Depends what you're doing down the woods. Are you going to be building camps, building shelters, then a folding saw will be really handy. And if you're going to be splitting wood and cutting down larger stuff, an axe will come into its own then. But if you're just going down the woods to have a little bit to eat, collect some water, do a bit of foraging or something, then you're only going to need your stoves, maybe a small knife, things like that. So the next thing, and one of the most important really, no matter what, if I ever go out, I always take first aid kit, every time, no matter what. If I'm taking knives, 100% first aid kit and my mobile phone. This has got a few things, but yet again, this is something that's probably better off if you kind of customise it to your own needs and everything. Get a basic one and then add to it, but get a decent one. This has got like bandages, plasters, it's got some painkillers, different styles of tape, surgical gloves, pads and stuff like that. And I've even got in here a pair of nail clippers, because I've done things like where I've been messing around with wood, I've ripped my fingernail off, well the end of my fingernail off, and it's hanging there. Nothing will get that off better than just snipping it off with a pair of nail clippers. The first aid kit. Now this last thing really, like I said, remember this is based on a day trip, not camping out overnight. But I have found times where I've gone out just for a day and wish I took with me a tarp or a basher. And this is a 3x3 olive green DD tarp. Now obviously I'm sat on a tarp, and a tarp like this would do you as well. These are cheap, but they've got less eyelets on them, so they're just slightly more awkward to set up. So I've got a tarp. With the tarp you're going to need stuff like paracord. And I've also got a little small tarp what would work as a ground sheet. Because I've gone out before and thought to myself, I wish I'd bought the tarp because it started raining. And I hadn't kind of wore a heavyweight jacket or anything. I was wearing light clothing. And I ended up getting soaking wet. And it would have been better if I'd have been able to just quickly rig this up and then have a nice shelter. And then I could have put this on the floor and sat on it and had a dry backside. So paracord, a tarp and a ground sheet or another tarp. That'd get you shelter and this would help you make it. Also, the paracord could be used for other things, but like I said, it all depends on what you're planning to do. If you're planning to go and build shelters and stuff out of natural things, then you might want to take loads of paracord with you to tie bits together in that. So that's basically some of the more basic items what you could buy for a basic bushcraft kit. I'm pretty much sure all of that at a squeeze would fit in that bag, but you're not going to need all of this in one bag. You're only going to need one of your cups, one of your stoves, maybe a couple of knives, one of the axes. So all of that easily would fit into a bag that size. Alright, so that's the gear separated now. That's the doubles of them. So here we got hexamine stove and your mess tin, your water bottle and your cup, the wood burning stove, the wood gas stove with the Trangia stove and a buddy burner inside it, ground sheet tarp, saw, axe. I'll put all the fire kit there, the tarp, 2 knives, paracord first aid kit, water filter and the bag. Now easily that lot would definitely fit in that bag. You'd probably get another bigger bottle of water in there as well. The only thing I missed showing you was these just as an extra. Now I made these myself, and what this is lids for the different cups, and this is a lid for the mess tin, and that cup there, that's the lid to that one. They're just kind of extras which I'd made myself, but they really do cut down on boiling time when you're cooking things. Alright, so that's a basic kind of kit list for some of the stuff what would get you going. Right, anyway, cheers for watching, and I'll see you later.